All right, how's everyone doing? Good evening. Rehearsing?
Should we go to the next photo?
Oh no, jumping right into it, Ross. God damn it.
This is, without a doubt, my favourite earlier picture, just because it's when we would all do things together.
Back when we used to hang out and drink tons of booze and get into a bunch of mischief every night on tour.
That's at 40,000 feet somewhere over Russia on the way back.
Something like that. We were on the Sony Jet, I think.
Warners.
Yeah.
Close enough. What's the camera in your hand, Kirk?
That was an old camcorder. Back in the day, everyone had camcorders. We didn't have phones. We had these big old clunky things. And I hope I have that footage somewhere. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see.
I like you're so affectionate to the drummer.
No, he's only kissing the fingers. Yeah. That's as
close
as it
gets. He's actually telling me I'm number one.
They do this every night, right before you go on.
Actually, we're still doing that, yeah.
Next, what's next? Aha.
Oh, I wish I had that guitar. I should have bought that guitar. Look at that thing, man. That's crazy.
Someone bought it to sell you, didn't they?
Yeah, that was like backstage a show in Denver or something?
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. And well, that's a very, very cool sort of rock and roll backstage shot. You know, that's what you would think.
You think they're all having fun?
Yeah. Well, you would think that, all the backstages were like that, but they're not. That was a particularly nice one. And usually they're pretty awful.
What year was that, Kirk?
I think 91 or 92. I can tell by my facial hair.
We're going to talk about your facial hair and the aggression of it throughout the book. But what are some of your earliest memories of working with this fine man?
Well, the first time I saw Ross was in San Francisco. He was staying at the Hyatt Regency at Fisherman's Wharf. And Lars and I went over to meet him.
Yeah, before we did the
the crazy photo session. It was like I would say sometime in 1984 or 85, right? 85. Yeah, because
When did Ride the Lightning come out?
84.
84.
So yeah, it had to be
before Ride the Lightning.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, the first thing he did is when I walked into the hotel room and he said, "Do you have makeup on?" And I was like, "No, I don't have freaking makeup on." And I thought about it, and I thought, well, he's just asking me that because he's used to shooting pasty freaking British people all the time. Sorry. I'm kind of brown. Tan, well, whatever you want to call it. Right here, us two were like Team Brown.
So now, Ross,
Team Brown.
In those days, Ross would make you work almost as much as he makes you work now, but there was a hell of a lot of shoots during that period.
Yeah, I mean, we would work all day from like noon till late at night. And those first few years, we were always drinking.
That was it.
Everyone was drinking or having a good time. We'll take a picture of this now.
Actually, if you look at a lot of the pictures from then, everyone's holding Sapporos.
Yeah. And some of the crazy behavior you see, all these shots, is because we were just all sitting around drinking. Because that's what people were doing back then.
Now, you see, you can tell they're successful in this picture because they've gone to Champagne.
I remember someone handed me some champagne. I was like, "What's this stuff?"
And the best part of this picture is the following morning, I left, we all went to Schiphol Airport in Holland.
Oh yeah, that's
cool. And they took off before me, and then, they took off before me, and I'm still waiting for my flight 2 hours later, and I see them walking through the terminal.
Yeah, our flight, okay, so we decided to stay up all night.
Correct.
So that we can go onto the plane, just sleep all the way back to San Francisco. So we arrived at the airport like at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, drunk, tired, a little bit hungover, you know, on the edge. And so we get on our plane, and I remember thinking, oh, finally on the plane, I can like go take a nap. So I totally pass out. And then I remember being woken up by Tony Smith and going, Kirk, wake up. I go, are we in London? Because it was Amsterdam, London, San Francisco. He goes, no, we're back in Amsterdam. I'm like, fuck off. He goes, no, we have to get off the plane. I'm like, what?
You got stuck.
Yeah, it was horrible because like we thought it would be like just a nice cruise all the way back, but it wasn't.
And one of the first times that we did get a plane, we were on the Justice tour in Australia, and we decided to stay in Sydney and go to Adelaide, and then the engine went, the propeller went.
Two engines
went.
But we had 5.
Yeah, and we turned round, and we turned round, and Tony Smith, who was the tour manager, we landed, he'd fallen asleep, and he wakes up and goes, where's the cars for the show?
Yeah. It was an old plane. It was like literally like from the 50s, this plane. It was like a military grade plane. We were on it, and I could remember taking a really sharp left turn. It was really like when you're on a plane heading to a destination, you don't take sharp left turns.
But you know,
you go in a straight line.
The odd thing about all that is it didn't particularly bother us.
Yeah,
but now it would. True.
But we took a really sharp left, and I looked at our tour manager, and he looked at the pilot, because he was sitting up front, and he said, what's going on? And the pilot said, oh yeah, two engines just went out. And our tour manager said, what? And he said, it's okay, we have 3 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
No, it was a 5, okay.
Propellers.
No, it's 5.
No, they were propellers.
Yeah, 5, yeah, it's a prop plane,
Wasn't it?
5
Yeah.
props. Yeah, 2, and then 1 in the front.
Yeah.
And that's not very reassuring when 2 engines go out and the pilot says, it's okay, we have 3 more. You know, you want to see all those things going all at once, right?
Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Luxurious Russia.
Man. Yep. That was quite a show. I couldn't see where the crowd ended. It just got foggy, and the horizon got a little foggy and misty, and there's still people underneath the fog and mist.
Yeah,
There's so many people there.
With the army in between.
Yeah,
in lines.
Army just like in some like pseudo battle with them. It was weird.
And what was it like constantly having Ross in your face, on stage and off stage?
I'm pretty used to.
I used to call him at the time the magnet because he had this habit of when he plays, you'll see another picture later, of always going like this. I used to go.
That's before I was more flexible.
Yeah, exactly. He was like he'd been magnetized to the amplifier. What's that? Aha, here we are.
Oh yeah.
This is recently. This
very
is
recent, yeah.
Hawaii, where he lives.
Yep.
And before you think this is super glamorous, this was taken at 5:45 a.m. I need to get up to do it.
Yep. But you know, I'm up. If it's going to be a good shot and Ross is up for it, I'm definitely up for it too, because this man knows how to take a shot. And
What time is it at?
that's probably like dusk the day before.
Right.
Yeah, that's 7:15 because it's on the equator.
Yep. See, there you go.
The sunset is always the same time.
And it's pretty crazy because we always go to the same spot, but it's a very dynamic spot. The background horizons always looks different, whether it's the clouds or position of the sun or just like.
And Kirk's shirts always look different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was
Last night. Last night. I was thinking about it, but no.
There's always tomorrow.
Robert, what's your first recollection of meeting and working with Ross?
So would have been what, 90 or 89 or what? So Ross did a photo shoot for my old band, Suicidal Tendencies. And it was in New York, and I believe we were actually opening for Metallica. It was, would it have been the Black Album tour? Because Jones Beach, yes.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, look at that. The sumo samurai semi-crab walk, and Kirk smelling his armpit, or, or making a gesture like I smell, I don't know.
We'll be doing this tomorrow.
Yeah. So back then, Suicidal Tendencies was a very tough band from Los Angeles, and Ross comes in to shoot us. He's wearing a pink shirt, and it says, you know, the Gay Olympics. And to my bandmates back then, you know, they were kind of like confused. You know, who is this guy?
You got to remember, Mike Muir was a very tough street guy.
Yeah, tough street guy, and here comes fearless, you know, this fearless man Ross, and our drummer at the time, RJ. I remember you kept calling him Poncho, and Poncho, Ralph would have been hungover at the time, and what it is I know your tactics now. He likes to get the edge out of whoever he's shooting, so he might throw a jab at that person or make you laugh or whatever, but he gets the result because he gets the So of course Poncho goes, you know, he wanted to kick Ross's ass. He was like click, 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 you know. And yeah, so that was our first encounter. We were like, who is this guy? He's a fucking nutcase, man. But he got brilliant photos, and oddly enough, it was, I really do believe it was actually
That's
opening
the
for these
period.
guys. Oh yeah, man, my old overalls, yeah. God, I can't believe you got that.
Have you still got the bass?
Oh yeah.
There you go. Look at the shorts.
Okay, yeah,
I love those
sure.
shorts.
Listen, you're claiming me for the Gay Olympics. Look at this.
Yeah, I know. This is my look. I celebrate it all.
That's Venice, man. That's Venice style.
That's Venice Beach right there. And I had the beer in the back, got my Ampex. That's dude, I've never seen these pictures, Ross.
Yeah, no, we gotta
Look at that. Oh,
That's
damn.
Amsterdam.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. New shots.
Yeah.
I still got some limberness. I'm trying to be like Kirk. Kirk's Mr. Yoga. And he's the most limber guy in the band, so you know, I have to keep up with him.
You're doing pretty good, bro.
I do all right. Oh, that, okay.
Remember this?
So where was the, wait, okay, Ross.
202 Wakam, correct or not?
Mexico City.
Right, you said that correctly.
James and I trying to climb the pyramids and not doing a very good job of it.
Actually, I remember that day we were followed by about 100 paparazzi, and I said to and they wouldn't go away, and James was firm, I'm not doing pictures. And I said, look, why don't you line up, I'll talk to them, we do a picture. And he said, no, it's our day off, I'm not doing it. Do you remember that? He wouldn't.
I didn't know that was going
Yeah,
on.
he actually said, he said, look, I'm not giving into this, which I respect him for completely. But then eventually, we, I remember at the end of the day, because there was a lot of tourists there, I said, I know, and I went and bribed the guard $100.
Oh, okay.
And that's why there's no one there.
Right.
And he never stayed.
We had the pyramids to ourselves because Ross gave the guy $100. What can you ask for? Yeah. That was a lot of fun, yeah. You know, it's always good fun.
And this was before Black Album.
No, that's Black Album.
That's Black Album,
Yeah.
we went before. And you can see the tourists, look, see in the hawkers.
See, look, Lars gets the tourists, and James and Rob don't get the tourists. We get the private. Privet.
There he is, worn out. At the end, we used to do that a lot. He doesn't really do that anymore. He just runs around with sticks. Throwing them out. Let's have a look. What's next?
So I have a question for both of you here, actually. What do you think makes a great picture? What, you know, when you're particularly on stage?
I think it has to be, you know, it has to have some sort of emotion coming out of it, you know. A lot of his pictures are very emotional. I mean, look at that one of Lars. It's just like, it just has a lot of emotion to me, you know. He's just like exhausted, just like gasping for air. Ross caught that a moment of kind of like, exhilaration, exhaustion,
That's also exhaustion from the night
Say what?
before.
Some slight posing going on this.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything about that, but still, it's like, I think, emotion and energy.
And how important is it for you to have your history recorded like this?
Well, because of Ross, I don't really have to bother with chronicling much of my on-tour life myself, which is great. Ross pretty much chronicled most of the 80s and the 90s for us. None of us were kind of camera wielding people, but Ross, fortunately, was always around and capturing all those memories, and I kind of I'm grateful for Ross.
It's also Ross is painfully honest, and
yes.
if you don't look right, and you're just he'll tell you don't look right, or fix your chin,
Take it off.
Take it off. What's up with the bags under your eyes? Don't do this. You know what I mean? It's just
That's prime you, isn't it?
That was prime me.
Yeah.
But,
You were so mean to Jason Newsted every time, though.
Yeah,
bro.
but he
You were
deserved it.
so mean to him.
I was mean to him. You
No, okay,
know
you
what?
were, but you were mean to him too. I mean, consistently in photo sessions, you say, "Jason, stop looking like you're in Anthrax."
He did. Jason Newsted had this thing of every time we shot Anthrax, they would go, and every picture Jason would do, he'd do this, and I'm like, put your chin down. Remember that? Your chin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Years.
For years, yeah. Yeah, he would. He'd have this look.
So it was put your chin down?
Yeah, not like
Because with us, it's put your chin up.
Yeah.
Well,
the other way.
that's what happens when you've been around for 40 years.
This is I thought we'd throw in.
Oh, I don't see that. Was that last night?
That's Amsterdam. So
Amsterdam.
we should have a talk about the
Pretty-
show while we're here.
Sounds pretty damn good.
You
I
haven't
can
seen
hear
it. They're looking at it because they haven't
I
seen
can
it.
hear it.
Yeah, what's
I
it like
can hear
seeing
it.
it from another angle? Because you're on stage, you have a whole different perspective to everyone else. Putting
I'm
you on
sorry, I
the
was
spot.
just overtaken by the shot. Well,
be nice
answer
to
to
him.
that.
Well, are you talking about from the perspective of being on the stage?
You're not seeing this. ever.
Yeah, so it basically, as you could tell, the stage is massive. It's like a racetrack, and we're still. What's beautiful about last night is there's a purity to it. What you're experiencing is the same thing we're experiencing. You're experiencing something new and fresh. And right now, there are no real rules. There's going to be inconsistencies. There's going to be a certain level of honesty to the performance. I don't know, last night there were a couple songs where there was a couple little snafus or less than perfect moments. But as Kirk will say here in a second, that's okay. You can fuck an intro up and you're going to be all right, man. Mistakes are good.
I'm still alive, and I made numerous mistakes last night.
From shooting the show, you haven't really worked out where you're going.
No.
There's bits of it where I think they're going to go there, and then they're miles of, you haven't, because you're still trying to work the stage out, really.
Last night I was trapped in front of Lars's drums because of the pyro, and I needed to get to, guess what, my wah pedal, and I couldn't because there's flames shooting over the wah pedal. Literally, over where I was hoping to go.
I saw you over there, and I was
During
trying
fuel.
to get your attention. I'm like, and he's off in his world, so I couldn't get his attention. But it's also that too, is, the stage is dark, it's black, so you don't always know where the pyro is going to come up. So there's only a few spots that are safe. And I guess your wah pedal wasn't one of them.
Flames shooting right over it.
I remember at the end of Puppet City Golf last night, it was
Holy shit.
I missed it because it was so bang, and you were like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It was
Yeah.
just oh my God, man. I had an aneurysm.
And also it's different, because they're changing the set every night, the pyro's different every night.
That's
Yeah, it
as
is.
much of a shock to me as it is to you guys. Keeping you on your toes.
So we're still trying to figure out the stage, and you know, pretty exciting.
I'm just really glad we had these lights that are like outlining the stage, because I'm known for falling down and falling off things. So I'm really thankful that those things exist.
So last night during Orion, I was playing the mellow breakdown with Lars, which I like to do because I've never really been able to do it that way. And then I need to get over to my tech to cue him on the so I'm like kind of casually walking, and then I realize I'm lost. I'm actually lost. All I see is a black stage, and I don't know if I'm gonna fall over the steps or into a drum hole, and then I start running, and I actually passed my tech. Like he was actually 20 yards that way, and I get up to the stairs and I go, oh shit, and I see James and Kirk, and then I look back, and now it's time to go, so I'm like there's and then I look back and my tech's like, and he hits it like in the middle of the solo, but you know, again, the good news is we laugh about it, you know, just like, you know, it was, at least it was in time, right? You know, it's just like.
And tomorrow it'll be different again.
Yeah.
Completely.
Oh boy, yeah. With all sorts of new thrills and spills in store, I'm sure.
Many people going tomorrow that are here?
And you've got to remember, they have to rehearse this before they go on for an hour.
We do. We rehearse. We go through about a third of the set, it seems like nowadays. But you know, this is what we have to do just to make it sound as good as possible for you guys.
At the same time, what I want to add to that is, with some of these songs, in my opinion, like Fight Fire in Amsterdam was probably the tightest we've played that ever. So there are moments where you're going to get, I believe that you're going to get something really special, and the fact that we're getting into the newer songs and challenging ourselves with even that, you know, is super exciting. So. You know, there are going to be more moments of glory, and there's going to be moments of, you know, hopefully not too bad of a train wreck, but you know.
I'm getting used to the train wrecks, actually.
It's part of the show now.
Yeah.
Actually, I think, which I hope you'll agree, part of the initial charm of Metallica was it was a train wreck early on, you know, that came together.
So complimentary.
You know, I mean, I remember seeing them at the Lyceum and going, thinking, you've got to be joking. You know, like, you know, because they used to drink. It wasn't so much that, it was like they'd get shit-faced before they'd go on, as the show went.
Yeah. And then we decided, you know, maybe if we like save the drinking for after the show.
Yeah, now.
It'd sound better.
You learn as you go along. That's what life's all about.
Well, you know, you throw it on a live tape and you're going, what? Well, that's us?
That's not me.
That's me? No, that's not me.
That's a prime example of what Robert was talking about with the blackness. You know, you can see nothing. You know, James.
Pretty much
nothing.
None,
you know,
none more black.
None more black. Next, let's go. Oh God, this picture is the only picture in the book I truly hate. I really do. I wish it wasn't in the book.
Mr. Honesty.
Yeah, because I think it's a bit too much of a cliche now, and I sort of wish I hadn't. I mean, it is very much him at the time, but I wish I hadn't put it in. That's the only one. There's another. See, this is the contrasty light show, which they're famous for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really great shot.
And this is him. Where is that?
That's Bob Rock's Fender 12 string.
It is?
Yeah.
What's the next one?
Yeah. And, you know.
Aha, the 40th.
Was this San Francisco?
Yeah.
Chase.
That was last year.
Chase, yeah.
That's a very rock roll kind of shot.
So Ross, how do you corral the band into position now that they don't necessarily
Well, only
have to
because
listen to you?
what I was talking about, I was saying before you got here, that you work, even though you two have turned up today, they normally don't work on days off, and everything is sort of quite regimented when, you know, what goes on. And I remember pulling them in to get the shot with the logo, you know, for like 5 minutes. And it's more about, you know, at first they'd stand in the hallway and block the photo. And it was just getting them like that. You know, and I quite like, they're quite warm in that picture, if you look at it. There's a warmness, I think, anyway. In the picture, you know.
Pretty relaxed.
Yeah, pretty relaxed.
Very
That's a good
natural,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
That
You
was
know.
the night I got COVID.
Yeah. You know.
I actually got COVID that night. It was just like I was on stage going, why is everything weird? Like,
Oh, you did, yeah. You rang me up and said,
it's
"Are
just
you
like-
okay?" When I got home. Yeah, yeah.
I was just like, why do I feel like I'm in slow motion right now? That's how I felt when I was on stage for that show. And they
That's night number 2?
Yeah, and then I was talking to someone, you know, Greg Fiddleman's assistant, Sarah. She said, you know, you actually sound like you're playing like you're sick. You actually sound like you're sick when you're playing. So, just a little tidbit, I was freaking sick that night.
You mean like
On stage,
sick?
COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
Sick. Yeah.
Sick riff, bro.
shoot. I don't like, you know, I don't like hometown shows because there's always too much going on, even for you lot,
Yes.
isn't there?
Yes. I mean, I have like 300 cousins.
Yeah, exactly. And your mum.
Or people who claim to be my cousins.
Aha, there's Bob Rock.
Oh yeah, Bob.
There he is in his
So
white shirt.
what's it like now mixing in, you know, Black Album songs? You've got such a catalogue to sort of get through in the show. I think that's one of the reasons for no repeat, I imagine.
So the question is,
Just what's it like now playing those?
oh, what's it like to play? Hey, you know, just like those songs, I will never get tired of. Actually, I never get tired of playing any of our songs. You know, it's just all our songs are really, really fun and great to play, and really, really enjoy them. And like, you know, the Black Album's just, it's up there with just packed full of songs that I love to play. I mean,
What's the hardest Black Album song to play?
I don't know, probably Struggle Within.
One each.
No. Yeah, so Struggle Within for you?
Yeah, because that verse is so sideways. I always have to like write it out, write a chart out.
So for me, I mean, I've had the good fortune of being able to be in Metallica and actually play the entire album a few times in its entirety. So there were songs that you didn't play live from the Black Album, like Don't Tread on Me. Like Misery was never played in its entirety. Struggle Within wasn't played. So I feel fortunate that I was able to actually perform these songs. But Don't Tread on Me is complicated for me only because there's a lot of backup vocals in the you know, the way that riff kind of climbs and the progression of the riff and how it works is a challenge. But I actually enjoy it and have fun doing it. But that album's so much fun to play live in its entirety because the songs have these sort of personalities and the character and this dynamic range, and Misery was super fun to play live, you know, really great with the crowd and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask them one last question, and then they're going to go. I'm going to let them go.
Thank you, Ross. Jeez.
This is the day off.
I'm gonna let you go.
Apart from the Black Album, not the new album, what's the hardest Metallica song each to play?
Just in our catalog.
Catalogue.
Have you written it down?
You get on my notes. No, you're good.
You know,
Okay, I got it. Go ahead.
No,
You asking
still,
me?
Yeah.
both of us. I'm still thinking.
the hardest Metallica, not the new album,
easy.
because you still.
Yeah. Freight Ends of Sanity.
It's the
Freight Ends of
hardest.
Sanity, because the middle section is freaking crazy. And I learned, okay, real quick, I gotta tell you guys something, and you ladies, check this out. So when I first joined the band, the first couple years, I didn't know what the set list was gonna be. I'd ask Kirk, what set do you think we're gonna play? And he'd go, oh, we're gonna play this and this and this, I think, right? And then, okay, and then I'd ask James, and he'd say, probably this. And it'd be completely different than what Kirk said. And then Lars would do the same thing, and then all of a sudden you get to the show, and it's like, oh yeah, I want to play Phantom Lord tonight. And like, what? You know, it's like the complete curveball. So those first, you know, that first sort of year, I was always having cheat sheets. I would have to learn the song, you know, the night before, the day before, and I would literally have to have a cheat sheet to get through the song. So I always felt like I was chasing, you know, the you know, what I needed to do, chasing the song, so to speak. So at a certain point, when I kind of caught up, I said, okay, I am going to learn so many songs that they don't know even. So I learned Freight Ends of Sanity 4 years before we ever played it, you know what I mean? And Orion, I learned that. Cthulhu, I learned all these songs. So that when the song was called, I'd be prepared. But for me, it would be, Freight Ends of Sanity.
Before Kirk answers, what's the easiest Metallica song for you? You can play without even thinking.
Oh, the easiest, well, that's Sandman. I mean, really, yeah, it's a great song, but it's also pretty straight up. And
Yeah, it never changes.
yeah, it's not that complicated.
Come on in, Kirk, what's yours?
It's just like, yeah, my mind, I cannot ever make up my mind whether Metallica stuff is hard or not, because, when I think about jazz and complexity of jazz and jazz chords and like classical music and all that, Metallica doesn't measure up. And that's what I think is like really, really difficult to play music. So it's hard for me to put it into perspective, because it's all kind of just fun for me to play, and I don't really struggle with much of it. I mean, if there's anything, that might be a little sideways for me is, right after the guitar solo of Dyer's Eve, we go into like every little tail right after each other. You know what part I'm talking about. And that is just like, it's really super fun to play. Him and I, when we play that, we played super tight. And that's probably the most difficult, only because it just has so many rhythmic shifts. But I mean, our stuff isn't really that hard for me to play, but maybe it's because I've been playing it all my life.
Nightmare Long was a challenge. All Nightmare Long had a lot of, it's like you're driving a race car and you're shifting gears. So there's a lot going on there. Super fun to play. And then what was the other one from the Death Magnetic?
Kiss.
Judas Kiss. That's
was
the
the
one.
one.
That's the hardest one.
That's the one.
That's the hardest. Okay, we both agree on that. Judas Kiss.
Right, listen, so I'm going to let them go, but before we can do a picture down here with all of the guys. Should we do it?
What the hell did you say?
We're going to line up here.
We're gonna go down there, take a picture.
Kaz is going to do a picture of us all together.
Casio?
Okay.
All right, and then